Jason, what is up, bro? How are we feeling today?
I'm doing good, man. Just sitting around chilling. I don't gotta work tomorrow, so life is good.
Let's fucking go, baby. This is Jason, the Kid Knight. If you didn't already know, now you fucking know, guys. You should have known already. Jason, you're an OG, my guy. We were just talking about when I first saw you fight, it was in BKFC 5 against Lobov. And then man, you said you've been fighting since you were 14. What made you start at 14? Because I started at 23. So what made you start at 14?
Man, I was a bad kid, bro. I had a attitude problem, I guess you could say. My big brother is 7 years older than me, a whole hell of a lot bigger than me, and he beat my ass my whole life. So, I was always, I was like at at 14, I was probably a buck 40 soaking wet. And oh, hold up one second.
No, you're cool. You're cool.
You still there?
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Okay. One second. Yeah, text her and tell her that I'm doing a podcast. But yeah, man, I was like a buck 40 soaking wet when I started fighting. And anytime anybody ever tried me before fighting, in the cage or whatever, I just wasn't having it. You know what I'm saying? And my big brother done did all this to me my whole life. I don't care how much bigger you are, we throwing hands immediately. And
How many
man,
brothers do you have?
I just got one.
Okay, just one.
But,
Okay, keep going.
yeah, I got one brother, two sisters. But yeah, man, the way it was anytime somebody tried me, if they was bigger or whatever, we started fighting immediately. And I got 3 or 4 simple assault charges from kids that thought they was gonna pick on me, and then all of a
Oh no
sudden I whooped
shit.
them. Yeah, I whooped them and shit, and then next thing you know, their mamas and daddies get involved, and I'm doing anger management and shit like that. But man, I was like 13, and I got in a fight in school, and at the time, my sister had some chick living at the house with us. Well, well, this chick, she knew a guy named Jay Bullock, and Jay Bullock, wound up pretty much becoming my brother-in-law. But at the time, she tells me, "Hey, this guy Jay Bullock, he's into fighting and all this stuff. He can teach you how to fight." It's like, all right, cool. So he's gonna teach me how to box.
Have you fought
And
before then? Like, have you thought about fighting? Were you just straight fighting?
nah, man, I was just a street fighter, a kid who
Hell
liked to
yeah.
fight, in the halls at school and shit. But yeah, like I watched a little bit of UFC. This was the early days of UFC, back whenever Chuck Liddell was running shit.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, Chuck Liddell and Rampage and
Yeah.
fucking Rashad Evans, that Forrest Griffin, that was them days.
Yes, sir.
The King GSP. But
Yeah.
anyways, fucking
So she tells you about the
I
guy.
yeah, I get up with Jay Bullock. He's gonna teach me how to box. He starts teaching me how to throw straight punches and shit. And he was like, "Man, if you like this, then let's start working on some kicks and some MMA and stuff." And he knows nothing, bro. Like literally knows nothing. And I'm thinking at the time I'm 13, almost 14. I'm thinking that he's got it figured out. He knows more than I do. So
How old was
let's
he?
learn. Oh shit, he was like 25 at the time,
Oh,
or
so you're
20.
thinking this
Yeah,
motherfucker's been doing this.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, but he's just watching, Pride and UFC, watching old
Yeah.
Pride videos and shit. And that's how we started learning, bro. He
Oh
started teaching
shit.
me a little bit, and then within 6 months or a year, I done got to where I was better than him. But anyways, yeah,
Were you
like
training at his house or in a gym?
we're training in his house at first, and then we moved at my house. My stepdad had this shop out back, and
Nice.
we turned it into what we called the dojo. And man, we had a little 10 by 10 dog kennel, and I had 2 of them flexi roll mats, the 5 by 10 mats. We strung them together, and we had us a little cage in there. But yeah, man, we're just kind of slowly but surely progressing into training. And he goes out to a bar one night called the Whiskey in Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah.
And they're passing out flyers for a place called the Fight Club. And
Oh shit.
he brings home this flyer and he's like, man, you should try this.
How old were you?
Call him. I had just turned 14.
Oh
He's like, man,
my God.
he's like, man, you should call them up and see if you can do this. So I call him and I'm like, hey dude, I'm 14. Can I fight? And I kid you not, it was a guy named Smokey. Smokey answers the phone. He's like, I don't give a shit if you're 12. If your mama will sign for it, you can fight. I was like, all right, hell yeah. Well, you still there?
Yeah, I got you. Hang on. Hang on, folks. We're gonna get them back in here. We're gonna get them back in here. Technical difficulties. Gotta love live podcasting. Hang on. We're gonna get them back. Let me get Mr. Jason Knight back in here. Boom. There we go. Get old Mr. Jason Knight back on up in here. All right.
All right. So, anyways,
You're good. You're good.
yeah, I call Smokey and he tells me I don't give a fuck if you're 12. If your mama sign you up, you can fight.
Yeah.
So my mama takes me down there on Monday. I have my first fight that Wednesday.
What does she think
And
about it?
she she didn't really care for it too much,
Yeah,
but
same. Mine, same.
for one, this is gonna keep you out of trouble.
Yeah.
And if you want to do it, I'm gonna support you.
Yeah.
Still to this day, bro, I think my mama's missed like 3 of my fights, and that was because
That's
2 of them was
badass.
in a 2 of them was in a different country, and I think one of them she just could not afford to go to. Other than that, she's been at every fucking one, and if she didn't have the money to pay for it, like by the time I got to the UFC, if she didn't have the money to pay for it, I paid for it.
Hell yeah,
But
Jason, you're international.
oh yeah, for real. But yeah, man. Anyways, this dude, I'm 14, and the dude's 19, just got back from Iraq.
Fuck.
And I remember we're in the back, and he's sitting there talking like, man, I don't want to hurt this kid. And my brother's like, you better try. He's gonna try to hurt you. I tapped him out with a rear naked choke in 30 seconds.
Damn, Jason.
But yeah, man.
No jiu-jitsu up to that point, or just training with Jay Bullet?
Yeah, man. We're fucking training in the backyard.
How'd you not do a triangle? That's crazy at 14 like that. In a
No,
fight,
a rear naked choke. But yeah, man. We're training in the backyard. We're reading a Royce Gracie book. We're watching UFC fights and shit, watching old Pride videos, and we're trying to mimic what they're doing. Nobody's ever taught us shit. And bro, I went 6-0 training at the backyard. We called it the dojo. And that little shop, we called it the dojo. I went 6-0 out of there. And then, whenever I was 15, almost 16, I hear about Alan Belcher has this gym down in D'Iberville called Remix MMA. And I'm 6-0. I'm thinking, I'm a badass.
Yeah.
So I go down there, I sign up to this gym.
How far is it?
And I'm thinking, it was about 45 minutes from my house.
Also a good little drive.
Yeah, but my brother was living in Ocean Springs.
Nice.
And he's like, this was around the time I was getting ready to quit school. I quit school at 15. And when I quit school, he told me, if you'll move down here to Ocean Springs, I'll pay for you to go to the gym, but your ass is going to be there every day.
Man, shout out your brother, Jason. That's badass, dude. Shout out your brother.
But yeah, man, I go there. and I'm thinking I'm 6-0, I'm a badass.
Yeah, I'm running shit.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, the weakest, scrawniest looking motherfucker in the gym beat my ass, and I'm like, oh man, this is this is where I need to be. And
Yeah.
then man, I went once I started fighting for them, it was almost a year before they let me start fighting, even though I'm already 6-0.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I went, I fought 4 more times as an amateur. I went 10-0 as an amateur.
Damn.
And as soon as I turned 17, Alan Belcher, we're on a run, bro. We're running. And he's like, hey man, I think you should go pro. I was like, really?
At
He's like,
17?
yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
he's like,
shit.
yeah, I talked to the athletic commission. I told him, I showed him some videos. I showed him that you've been fighting grown men since you was 14. And he said, if your mama signed for it, you can fight as a pro. Well, sure enough, mama signed for it. I fought as a pro. Yeah, my first pro fight, I was 17. And then
Where at? Mississippi?
Mississippi, yeah. I think I went 7 or 8-0 as a pro. Mostly first round finishes, first or second round finishes. And then I had my first loss against a guy named Mike Roberts. It was his pro debut. I took him lightly, didn't even really train for the fight, and he beat my ass. I beat his ass the first round, then second and third round, he beat the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Well, then
How old are you at this
after
point?
that, what's up?
How old are you at that point where you fight that guy? How old are you?
I think I might have been 19, 18 or 19.
Damn, man, so you're active. That's why I'm trying to, like, in my head, dude, you're fighting fucking every
Bro, I
month.
was fighting 4 or 5 times a year.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit, Jason.
yeah, I was fighting as much as I could.
Yeah.
Like at no less than 3 times a year.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
and then whenever I after I lost to him, I never took an opponent lightly again. I trained my ass off for every opponent. And I lost to him, and then like 4 fights later, I fight him again for a title fight. The only
Oh,
5-round fight I've ever had. I went all 5 rounds, but I beat his ass every minute of all 5
Oh,
rounds.
fuck yeah.
But then I wound up, I'm 16-1 before I get my call for the UFC. Well, I was 15-1, and I get a call for Titan FC to fight a Russian named Musa Kamanaya.
Holy
And
shit.
it was on 2 weeks notice. I hadn't been training. I was like, fuck yeah, that's a good deal. My coach, Alan, he tells me, if you beat this Russian, I talked to Sean Shelby. He said, if you beat this Russian, this is your ticket to get in the UFC.
What
I
year
was like,
is
fuck
this?
yeah. This was September of the fight was September of 2015.
Oh, damn, man.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, bet.
Yeah.
Well, I go out there, and the first round, this Russian dude, he's roided out.
Oh,
But
fuck, man.
he beats me like a drum the whole first round.
Damn.
And then we go out to the second round. He's beating me like a drum some more. He kept, like on the feet, he dropped me like twice, I think. And then second round, he takes me down, and I'm throwing up rubber guard left and right. And he would pull out the rubber guard, and he'd smash me 5 or 6 times. And I get him back in rubber guard. And then finally I catch him in an arm bar. And he pulls out the arm bar, and I switch it to a triangle choke and tap him out in the second round. Then I get my call to go to the UFC. I'm 16-1. Nowadays, bro, you got guys in the UFC with like a fucking 4-1 record as a pro.
Yeah.
I put in work to get there. And like that's what a lot of people don't realize about my career. You see like nowadays, you see these crazy ass wars that I'm in.
Crazy.
Well, the thing about that, that was all of that's after the UFC. I fought 9 times in the UFC. I lost my first fight. I won 4 straight in a row after that. I got to number 15 in the world. I beat Dan
Good
Hooker.
guys. Dan Hooker,
Yeah.
Alex Caceres.
Dan Hooker, Alex Caceres, Chaz Skelly, and Jim Allers. I beat the shit out of all of them.
Yeah.
And then after that, I lose. I go on a 4-fight skid. Out of those 4 fights, I feel like 2 of them I should have won. But shit, you leave shit in the judges' hands that don't go your way all the time. But it is what it is. Well, then after I got cut, shit, it was probably 2 or 3 months, 4 months. I got in the UFC in 2015. I got cut in like December of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And then next thing you know, I get a call or I get a message on Instagram from some guy that somehow worked with BKFC. And
So it wasn't
they're
Dave
asking,
Feldman?
it wasn't Dave Feldman.
Okay.
It was a guy, his name is Frog.
Nah,
I don't
shut
know
up,
how
bro.
the fuck he even knows David Feldman or anything, but like, hey bro, would you fight for BKFC? And I was like, I don't know, man. How much
Time
are
out
they
real fast,
paying?
Jason. So how long from when you get cut so that guy texts you that?
Ah, it was at least a good 3 or 4 months because
Okay.
the
Okay.
so when the UFC cut me, they never released a statement or none of that shit. They
Yeah.
cut me through an email, and they never released a statement or nothing. And if you pay attention to my social media at all, bro, I don't post shit unless I got a fight coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And at this time, I had just opened a little gym. I had it open for a few years. I opened a little
Oh,
gym called
nice.
Jason Knight. I don't have it open no more, but I had it
Oh,
open
okay.
for like 2 years. But
Nice, nice.
this was in like December of 2015.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of like fixing up the gym, getting ready to open, and
Yeah.
I get the message. So I was more worried about my gym. I
Oh,
didn't give a
man.
fuck. I got cut from the UFC, whatever. Oh well.
Yeah.
Well then a guy from bjpen.com, he hits me up and he's like, hey man, you want to do an interview or whatever? I was like, cool. Well then one of the questions he asked me is like, how important is it to win your next fight? I was like, obviously it ain't too fucking important. They already cut me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
after that, he releases a statement on Instagram and shit saying that I was cut. Well, I'm telling you, bro, it wasn't 24 hours after that I get the message from the dude about BKFC. And he was like, hey man, would you fight for BKFC? I was like, how much?
Yeah. First question. First fucking question.
And he offers, he's like, man, I can probably get you like 10 grand. I was like, I don't know about that, man. I was like, well, I have to see. He was like, well, I can put you in contact with such and such. I was like, well, all right, yeah, put me in contact with them.
Do that.
Well, then the next guy gets in contact with me and he's like, hey man, would you fight Artem Lobov? I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll fight Artem Lobov.
You knew who he was
And
too at the time?
yeah. Because
Yeah.
in the UFC, I always thought of him, whenever I was in the UFC, bro, well, I'm gonna tell you now, when I'm on top of my game, I'm one of the best in the world.
Straight up.
I truly believe that. That's whenever I'm fucking putting in work and training my ass off, just several hours a day.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm working and going to the gym, an hour after work, hour and a half, 2 hours after work, no, I might not be the best in the world. But whenever I was in the UFC, I watched Artem fight and I thought he was trash. So I was like, fuck yeah, I'll fight Artem. And I was like, how much? And they're like 60 grand. Like, oh no. They said 40. They said 40. And I was like, 40 grand. I was like, how much if I win? They said 40 grand guaranteed either way. I was like, bet. Fuck yeah, I'll fight him. Yeah. If I just got cut from the UFC, where
Yeah.
my ninth fight in the UFC, I was supposed to get 36 and 36. So if I would have won, I would have got like 72.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's that. Well, at that time I wasn't number 15 in the world anymore, but
Yeah.
whenever I made it to number 15, that was what I made, was 36 and 36. Had
Yeah.
I won again, it would have went up each time I won. But shit happened.
Yeah.
But anyways, you know,
So they hit you with that 40K offer, and then what are you
yeah,
like
like almost
fucking
immediately, like fuck yeah. And I told my coach, hey, I'm fighting bare knuckle. He was like,
yeah.
oh fuck. And he was like, how much are they gonna pay you? I was like 40 grand. He was like, oh fuck yeah, let's fight bare knuckle.
Who was your coach at the time?
It's still the same coach, a guy named Mike Sanford.
Nice, nice. Shout
Yeah,
out
and
Mike.
then Brandon Davis, he used to be in the UFC. He got cut recently. He's fighting for Game Bread now.
Nice,
But
nice.
Brandon Davis, he's my striking coach. And then at the time I was training with a guy named Blake Singley over in Satsuma, Alabama. I would bounce around from gym to gym and just get in work with all of them.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question, Jason, because I'll keep it fucking real with you. I don't know if I'd fucking fight bare knuckle for 40K, dude. I mean, probably because I need some fucking 40K, but it doesn't really fuck, man. It would just suck. I mean, I don't know why the 4 ounces feel a little bit better, but what was your thought? Because like, when was your last bare knuckle fight in that moment? Like, he texted you, he's like 40K. When was the last time from then? Like, if you can remember that you got in a bare knuckle fight.
Ah, shit, bro. Before that, I remember I was like 16, and this was after, I'd already been fighting MMA for a while.
So you knew it was
I was training Alan Belcher's gym,
yeah.
and some dude, his name's Rodney Cox. Just out the blue, randomly, he heard I'd been fighting and he had been beating up all the local kids or whatever. And he was like, hey, bro, I heard you're a good fighter. Will you fight me? I was like, that's kind of random. I was like,
Where were y'all at?
in Mississippi, just but no, like no, he messaged me or whatever.
Oh, I thought y'all were in person. I thought you texted me like,
No,
hey,
no,
fight.
I was like, yeah, cool, whatever. I'm hanging sheetrock at the time with my
Yeah.
dad. I was like, whenever I get off work, I'll come meet you and fight you.
What the
Well, this
fuck?
dude, he blows me up all day long trying to find out when I'm coming. I was like, dude, when I get the fuck off work, I'll come. Well, then I get off work and I finally get down there to where this dude's at, and he's got like fucking 60 people in the backyard.
Oh,
I was like, all
damn,
right,
dude.
cool, fuck it. And anyways, when I get out the car, it's like, you want to wrap them up, bro? Like, wrap my hands. It's like, fuck no, we're fighting. Let's go. Let's get this shit
Yeah.
done.
Kimbo sliced
Well,
him.
I beat him in like just a few minutes, and fucking, I remember I'm on his back, and I went to punch him like in his cheek. Well, he
Yeah.
turned the back of his head, and I broke my right hand.
Ah, fuck.
Well, after that, Alan Belcher told me, he's like, look, if you want to fight every fucking week, I can get you a fight. As many fights as you want. He said, but if I ever find out about you street fighting again, you're never gonna be allowed at this gym again.
Oh,
I
no
was like, oh,
shit.
I was like, okay, well, fuck that, And then before that, that was after that, I hadn't fought again until I hadn't fought, got hit with a bare knuckle until 2019.
Damn. Okay, so that's what I was wondering, man, because I haven't gotten a street fight, Jason, since like 2014 outside of a bar. It's been so fucking long since last time I got hit with a bare fucking knuckle. So he texts you. He's like 40K. You talk to your coach. Your coach is like, fuck yeah, dude, we're doing this shit. So how long do you have a camp till the fight happens? Like from that moment, how long do you have to prepare?
Bro, I probably had at least a good 8 weeks, 6, 8 weeks.
Oh,
Hold on.
cool, 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 cool,
So
cool.
look, let me think.
No, take your time, dude.
I was trying to think when that first fight was. It was sometime at, I think, like April or something of 2019.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'd say at least a good 2 months or so. But yeah, man, fucking the way I look at bare knuckle is just, it's a street fight. You know what I'm saying?
Street fight.
It's a dog fight. That's it. And that's the same way with the bare knuckle MMA, man. It's a street fight. It's just two guys that's got skill versus, two random Joes out in the bar parking lot.
Which one do you prefer? The game bred or just bare knuckles boxing?
I can't lie, bro. I like the bare knuckle boxing better, the BKFC better, just because I ain't got to worry about you taking me down. we just fucking putting knuckles on each other.
Facts.
But two things about that. One, my hands, they were fucked before I ever started fighting MMA. They were fucked from street fighting. You know, I broke these hands so many times. And two, my face has seen so many cuts that it's unreal, bro. I'm gonna tell you right now, my little boy, he ain't but 8 years old, and I promise you, if he punches me, I'm bleeding. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it is.
Just the scar tissue.
Yeah, man. And you see, like, I'll get on the internet sometimes, like on Instagram or whatever, after a fight, and I'll check out, like, especially like this last one. You know, I fought in November, Randy against Randy Costa.
Yeah.
The little bastard kicked me in my head.
Randy, man, I did not like watching that.
Hey, that's cool though, man. I fuck with Randy Costa the long way. I'm gonna root for that dude for the rest of my life.
Yeah, yeah.
That was if I was gonna lose to anybody in this world, Randy Costa would be the guy to lose to, man. That was the most humble, coolest fucking dude I've ever fought.
Hell probably. Yeah, that's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Yeah, man. And see, the thing is, man, I knew what I was getting into. I knew that he's coming out, he's fucking throwing hard from the word go, and I knew that head kick was coming. You know, 30 seconds into the fight, I knew a head kick was on the way. Yeah. But I didn't realize how lightning fast that son of a bitch was going to get up there. And I had like, you know, say you block a head kick like this. You know, you got one hand here, one hand here. And this hand's supposed to be catching while this hand's protecting your face. Yeah. Well, I was on the way to that, and this hand barely got up here. He kicked through my hand into my face.
And there's nothing, there's no padding. It's just there's nothing like to help kind of take it, you know?
Yeah. After that, bro, like I was on spaghetti legs, you know, and my brain never went nowhere. And like what pisses me off is like you get on the internet and you see people talk about, man, this guy's going to be brain dead. He's going to have CTE, blah, blah, blah. Bitch, I probably got a better brain than most of the motherfuckers that comment shit like that. I think I've had like 4 concussions my whole life. You know what I'm saying? And just because I get cut don't mean I got a concussion. I got fucked up in that fight for a whole minute and a half or whatever it was. And I'm tough as fucking nails. I kept eating shit and I still never went to sleep, you know what I'm saying? But I went to the hospital, drove myself, by the way. I walked out that cage. I got in my fucking truck. I drove myself. All the rest of them pussies that got beat up that night, they fucking got in an ambulance. You know what I'm saying? I ain't getting no ambulance. I drove myself to the hospital. I backed my truck up out of the parking spot, drove to the hospital. But
what the fuck?
I got there. They shined a little light in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? They're testing for a concussion. Yeah. Did all that good shit. No concussion. I knew I didn't have a concussion. You know what I'm saying? The 2 times that I had a bad concussion, I get out the ring and I'm immediately puking. You know, you swim headed, you can't fucking hardly walk. That's only happened to me twice. But, you know, anyways, I don't know, man. It gets on my nerves when people say shit like that.
Yeah, bro. And when I say like it's hard for me to watch, I didn't mean like it's just hard for me to watch. No. It's just, bro, because like even like when I watch like a Diaz brothers fight, bro. When I had to watch Nick and Robbie, I'm just sitting here like fuck, like watching the shots.
Oh yeah.
Bro, with yours though, yours are fucking wars. Yours are like to the death. So I'll be watching yours, Jason, and I'm just like, God damn, fucking just someone just stop it. But from your end, you're like, don't stop this shit, motherfucker.
Fuck no. And see, the thing about it, I seen where people's talking about the referee. He should have stopped that fight, blah, blah, blah. Bro, I have known that referee right there. When I told you I signed up at Alan Belcher's gym when I was 15, that referee was training at that motherfucking gym.
No shit.
He watched me at 15, bro. I came from a school of hard knocks. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays in the gym, you know, it's pussyfooting around for the most part. Everybody's in there, you know, you're trying to hit each other lightly. You're trying not to really. I promise you, I never did get tested for a concussion after a sparring session and shit, but I probably had a few of them motherfuckers in the gym, you know. I came up, you know, the way I learned how to check a leg kick, a dude named Cody Simpson, he kicked me off my feet over and over and over again
I've been
until
there,
I
dude.
decided to start blocking that motherfucker. And
Yeah.
Alan Belcher was standing right there talking about kick him again, kick him again. And that's how I learned how to defend rear naked chokes by getting choked to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
nowadays they don't do shit like that no more. It's which I mean, of course, nowadays it's probably better than back then, but you know,
I think you need
I
to
grew
mix.
up.
I think you need to mix it
Yeah,
up a little bit.
I grew up hard, man. I got it in the MMA scene whenever it was a lot rougher than what it is
Oh man.
nowadays.
Oh,
And
Jason.
fucking, I grew up tough in the MMA world too. So, like the grit and all that shit, man, that's just as part of me. I thrive in that kind of atmosphere, and I'm gonna tell you right now, of course, at the end of that fight with Randy Costa, I was probably fucked. My brain was still there. I promise you, I never fucking lost sight of what was going on. Never went black, not one time. But these legs was not working.
Yeah, yeah,
If he would have, the referee would have let him jump on me and throw some more punches, I promise you, Jason Knight would have kept fighting. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? I promise you, I'd have kept going until I go all the way out. I'm gonna keep going for the rest of my life. That's how it's always gonna be. But yeah, anyways, the dude Fred Griswold, man, he's seen all this shit. That referee, and he already knew if he was to stop that fight any sooner than what he did, me and him would have had some problems in the back. You know what I'm saying? And dude, he called me. He called me about a week after that, and he was like, "Man, I just got off the phone with your brother. I wanted to talk to you. How do you feel about that stoppage? Do you think I should have stopped it sooner?" So I was like, "Dude, if you would have stopped that fight sooner, you already know I would have fucked you up, Fred." He was like, "All right, man." He was like, "All right, man, thank you. God, I needed to hear that so bad." He said, "Because I'm getting
Oh
roasted."
man.
He's like, "Man, I'm getting roasted on the internet." And I was like, "Don't feel bad about it, dude. You did the right thing. You
Yeah,
let me go out on my sword. You know what I'm saying? You let me die on my sword." So
yeah.
I was happy with it.
That's kind of like the Ultimate Fighter fight when you have with Kurt. Same shit, dude. I was watching that fight like how Connor was. Every shot, I was just like, God damn it, Jason. Like,
Yeah.
just fucking Mark, step in. Stop it.
Man, dude, what fucking sucks about that is Kurt, he catfished me, bro. He catfished me bad. Cause like this is my brother, you know what I'm saying? Me and him, we had done became boys. We done this I slept on bottom bunk, Kurt slept on top bunk. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We done became boys and we're in there training together. And when we're sparring and shit in the gym, like I'm piecing him up. He's easy to hit. He can't hit me real easy. And then all of a sudden, whenever I go out to the fight, dude, I have no adrenaline. Like it was the weirdest
Ah,
thing ever. It's like going out there to fight your cousin or something. You're not
ah.
mad. Like it's weird.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like I had no adrenaline whatsoever. I'm just like, all right, dude, we finna fucking bang it out. I'm
yeah,
thinking it's a hard sparring session.
yeah.
Well, little did I know Kurt Hollaball had some adrenaline, bro. He was zoned in, dude. And like we made the agreement before the fight that we're not gonna shoot for a takedown until we get hurt.
Y'all are so
Well,
funny, man. So
well,
funny.
30 second, like the plan was we was getting fight of the season.
Yeah,
100%.
you
That was the
did. You
plan.
fucking you did.
100%. And I got 25 grand because of that.
Shout out
You know what I'm
Dana. Bring
saying?
that cash in. Let's
Shout
go.
out, shout out to Uncle Dana. But yeah, man, I got hurt probably 30 seconds into the fight.
Yeah,
But
man.
I ain't no bitch. You know
Nah,
what I'm saying?
dang.
There wasn't no
Never.
way I was gonna shoot for a takedown and Kurt was gonna be like, "Yeah, you went for that first takedown, didn't you, boy?" No, no, not me.
Were y'all cool after? Did y'all talk in the back?
Ah, yeah, man. We
Yeah,
we we fucking yeah. Kurt's my boy. We've talked a bunch of times since then.
that's what's
But
up.
yeah, man, that's the thing about me, man. I will fight you right now, and we cool 30 seconds afterwards. That's just the way it is. You talk a bunch of shit before the fight, it might
Yeah,
be a little different.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, at the same time, though, that really makes I don't know. It depends on how the fight goes, and anyway, like say Artem Lobov, man, me and him talked a lot of shit back and forth before the fight. I
I
hated
did.
that dude. I was ready to kill him. And then, bro, we bled on each other. You know what I'm saying? We
Dude,
fucking tried to kill each other. And
dude.
then afterwards, you can't help but have respect for somebody. If he goes through what you go through and he can take it like you can take it, you got to shake that man's hand.
Jason, I have showed that fight to maybe fucking at least 10 people, bro. Like when I'm talking about like, bro, you want to watch bare knuckle? Watch this fucking fight. I have showed that
Yeah.
fight to so many fucking people, bro. That was a straight up fucking war, dude.
Yeah, man. That was and the thing about it, I don't know if you've watched the second fight,
Yeah, I watched
but
second fight. I watched second fight.
yeah, when
Still a war. Everyone was just, dude, you can't do what y'all did that fucking first time.
now the second fight, bro, he barely touched me.
That's what
You
I'm
know what I'm saying? He
saying.
touched,
Yeah.
and the thing is, going into the
Still
first
cut him
fight,
up.
going into the first fight, I had done the exact same training. I had the exact same skills. And, I was just as good in the first fight as I was in the second fight. But in the first fight, I had all that anger and frustration and shit. And I just wanted to hurt him and show him that I could take more than he could take. I
Yeah.
threw skill out the window the first time I got hit. And we was just banging, bro. I was back in 8th grade, fucking in the hallway, And the second fight, I was like, I am not walking out of this motherfucker looking the way I did last time. So I'm gonna move my head, I'm gonna move my feet, and he ain't gonna hit me. And that's exactly what I did.
Jason, I got tons of more questions to ask you, bro. I only set this up for a 40-minute timer just to remind myself so I didn't keep you here till 10 o'clock.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna shut up. It's my fault. I've been talking too much. You
No,
ask your questions.
no, dude, fucking, dude, keep going. We're gonna do a part 2. This one's about to wrap up real fast. It's about to wrap up. It's telling me right now I got a minute left with you. Because if not, man, I was gonna keep you here till fucking midnight and just forget. But we're gonna do a part 2. I just wanted to wrap this part up real fast for the people. So they're not like, what the fuck? They just cut off while they were talking. Let me